All right, back here in the Pratte gym, wrapping up an Easter Sunday. Good evening, how are you? Listen, the colors orange and black, I think of them often because of Beaver Falls, right? But also, long after I was baptized in the Beaver Falls Tigers, I learned all about the Wellsville Tigers along the mighty Ohio and what they call the Garden City. I had a really unique time there watching many great athletes at Nicholson Stadium and Beacon Memorial. But there was a coach who always had a smile, but man, was he intense whenever it came to playing the sport that he loved, and was a pretty doggone good player too under Bobby Dawson, in which they rose to state prominence back in the late 1970s. I learned today that his father, Quentin, passed away on April the 6th. I had to take time to talk about him. Why? Because he was a guy who really was a big part of molding me as a broadcaster. Quinny Carter was a guy that if you know him, whether it was a tennis racket, golf club, basketball, he could just do everything good. And he was also a great interview too, very candid, full of life, and always had something to make you go, I really enjoyed my time with Quinny Carter, and his time has a way of separating people that really are very close. Even though it's been a long time since I really sat down and spent any time with him, I still think of when an official's call really just didn't agree with him, I would always kind of lead out over the broadcast table and take a look at him. And he never said a word, but boy, that expression on his face said 1,000 words. He had to be really cut from the same cloth. I looked at the picture in the evening review of his father. Boy, did they have that wonderful smile and that just look in their eyes of how they embrace life. And Mr. Carter, 1947 graduate of Wellsville, was highly involved in his church, a man of faith, served the U.S. Army, worked at the Globe Brick Company, so hard worker and obviously a man on a mission, making his son be everything he could be. Mr. Carter, I never had the privilege to meet you, but I can tell you this, I did spend a lot of time with your son, and I have to believe he was a whole lot like you, so there's no doubt in my mind. You were a man that was rock solid, and I saw that every single time that I spent time with your son. So all of us here in the Pratte gym just want to take a little bit of time and say to my friend Quinny Carter, listen, your dad must have been some kind of guy to create and mold a man like you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you very soon. You can be sure of it from the Pratte gym. Good night.